Hey, this is Chris Walker with evangelismcoach.org, and I want to share with you an experience that happened to me today and simply raise the question as to what it might be with regards to, or how it might relate to hospitality issues. In just a couple of days, I'll be going fishing, and fishing is not something I ordinarily do. I only get to do it maybe once or twice a year here at the river behind me. But in a couple of days, I'll be going fishing up in northern Canada, going after some larger fish in some of the lakes that are up there. Now, I don't really know much about fishing. It's a gift that we've been given, and I look forward to the opportunity to do that. But in preparation for that, we spent some time going to the store to buy some tackle. And I discovered today in the store that there is a lot of different options for all sorts of tackle. We walked into what would be a fisherman's superstore, with hundreds of poles to choose from and hundreds of different types of lures. And because I was looking for some specific types of things that we've heard that people have been catching these fish with, I walked up to the salesperson and said, "Do the names of these things mean anything to you?" There were things like a half-inch spoon. There were things like jigs. And then there were things like, there's all sorts of vocabulary that I didn't really know. And the salesperson was like, "Okay, well, let's go this, and let's go and do that, and let's go and find this, and I'm glad that you get to go." And as he began to talk to me, he began to use vocabulary and language which was just entirely foreign to me. He was telling me that I needed to get a spoon, and that I needed to get a jig, and that I needed to get a tail to put on the jig, and while you're at it, look for some feathers that you can put on the jig, and make sure that the jig has its eye up at the top. With all of these things, the more he talked, the dumber I felt, because it's just not part of my world. It's not part of my vocabulary. Now let me bring this to what this might mean for hospitality issues at your church. Here I was, the first-time visitor in this superstore for fishermen, and the salesperson was talking to me about things that I had never encountered, things that I didn't know about, things that simply made me feel pretty ignorant. And the longer he talked, the more ignorant I felt. Imagine a first-time visitor who comes into your church. What might they feel and what might they experience, particularly if they don't have a church background, or if it has been a very long time since they've been in church? Would they know what contemporary or blended means? Would they know what the blue hymnal or red hymnal means? Think about various things that have become so ordinary in your vocabulary. These words that may be very different or very unknown to the person who's first time in your midst. The more this man talked to me in the sales aisle, surrounded by all this gear for fishermen, the more lost I felt, the more ignorant I felt, and believe it or not, I couldn't wait to leave the store because I just felt pretty incompetent. We certainly don't want to give your first-time church visitors those kind of feelings or emotions. And so think about the vocabulary that you use as you interact with your guests for the very first time. Think about some of the words that you might use and what words may cause those feelings of discomfort to occur. One of the goals that you have as the hospitality ministry of your church is to remove those things that you can remove that would make people feel uncomfortable. This has been Chris Walker with evangelismcoach.org, and for more tips on church hospitality, check out the hospitality category there at the website.